fallen behind with the every quarter updates that I wanted to do as part of my plan for 2025 and going forward. But I thought I'd catch up real quick. I'm doing this on a calendar year. So this is basically going to cover beginning of October, which is almost over, and well, just up to now, from when I got back from Historicon and hanging out with Scott and David Brown and Chris Brown and all those and everybody else that took part in that convention. That was awesome. It was number one for me, so it's nice to get out there in the world. So just going over what I painted, battles that we've fought, and what's next, what I'd like to get done in the next couple of months. My last update, of course, will come in after Christmas. Right now, this weekend's busy as all get out. We're celebrating my eldest daughter's birthday, and what is she? Oh my gosh, she's gonna kill me. 23, and also my wife's birthday. I'll not tell her age. She's coming up this week, so right before Halloween. So we've got, last night my daughter had all of her friends over, and I think they're out and about right now. And then we got a bunch of family coming in tomorrow to just hang out and have a good double birthday party again for them. So that's what's going on in the real world. I switched jobs in the operating room now, just kind of taking a step back and relaxing, and it's done a lot for me. I'm still trying to get in the groove of things and learn, but that's okay by me. It's just a little bit easier. I don't have to deal with stuff once I leave work. From all of you that have been in like a leadership spot in your jobs, that it's hard to not bring it home with you. So I'm kind of excited that for this move, and I'm probably about 10 years from retirement, and I should be able to just it'll be a good step down, like gearing down when you're coming into a turn on a stick shift, dropping down into second or third gear. And I think it'll make a smoother transition from going 1,000 miles an hour like I have been for the last 10 or 12 years. And now I can just it'll be instead of going from 0 to, I'm talking about too much. It'll just make it easier. I did have a bit of a transition to try to change. When I changed jobs at first, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I should be doing more and more, and your body's kind of used to going at that speed. And so this will be easier for me now, just after going through that transition. But enough about me. Let's talk about the channel and what's going on. And I hope and if I hadn't said it before, I hope you guys are doing well. All right, we'll start off with games that I've played since I got back from Historicon. We've done 2 GDA games, GDA 2, excuse me. Sorry, David and Chris Brown. We did the Dora Bridges and La Hermandad. If you weren't aware, those are in the General des Armées Victoria 1813 campaign book. David Brown did an interview with, I can't remember who it was. It might have been with Alex from Storm of Steel. He's done a few of them. But he's going to be taking all of the scenarios for General des Armées and General des Brigade, and then releasing them, and everything's updated to General des Armées 2. So you'll be able to get all those scenarios in one book, which will be awesome. I'm in the process of doing Victoria. Next up for me, just for David Brown campaign books, I'll be doing the Germany 1813 campaign stuff, which will be great. And I'm going to be all 1813 for a little while coming up for Napoleonics. And at some point I'm going to go back and do the 100 Days campaign with he's got that book too as well. And then I'll do the General des Brigade ones as well. So, yay. Very exciting times or continued exciting times for Napoleonics. I also played the Battle of Kernstown, which was a lot of fun. It's a smaller game. My 28mm Civil War collection is not as immense as other things I have. And it was nice when I saw that in the Jackson's Valley campaign that some of the battles were doable for what I have. So I might fight some more of those. I'm not sure yet. So that's something I've got lingering in the back of my head. And then I also did the meeting engagement on Arrakis, which was an Alpha Strike game, which is part of the. I'm using the Chaos campaign rules that are free on Catalyst's website, and I've just kind of using that 3039 source book that was not free, but it was pretty cheap price. I got a good deal on it, also from Catalyst. So that's just something fun that I've always, if you haven't heard me talking before in the past, I've played, my first foray into miniature wargaming was with BattleTech when I was just playing with little paper guys I didn't know anything about really, or I didn't have any desire to get into miniature wargaming at that. I really didn't get into this until the pandemic, so which I know it sucked for everybody, but it was, it got me into this. Really turbocharged everything, and it's been a fantastic thing for me. I've had a blast. Units I've painted, I felt like I hadn't painted as much as I usually do, but now that I've put it on for a 3-4 month period, I did 192 Prussian infantry, Napoleonic, 28 millimeter from Perry's. So that's 6 battalions of Prussians. I'm just putting the final touches on 4 battalions of Russians. So that's 128 of them for a total of 320 new 28 millimeter Napoleonic guys, which is, for 28 millimeter, it's not bad in a couple months. And I've also, in that time period, I basically started over again and repainted 3 British battalions. And so 96 of them for a total of 416 28 millimeter, and 99% of those were all Perry plastics. There was some Perry metals thrown in as well. Not bad as far as I'm concerned. On the back burner, I was trying to reach my goal of playing the Battle of Perryville on the date of the Battle of Perryville, which was beginning of October, and did not make that deadline. That was a lofty goal, but heck, I had to give it a shot. I think if I wouldn't have been so enthralled with Napoleonics, I would have made it easy. But I just wow, I get excited about Napoleonics. Right now, I have 30 infantry regiments in Epic, about 3/4 of the way done. So that's 2,160 troops, and I should be able to finish them up. And I'll definitely be ready for next October. And if you haven't seen the Epic sprues, you get certain regiments on there or troops strips, and then you basically put 2 of those guys together, and then the way they design it, you're supposed to have like 5 of these 2 group stands to make 1 regiment, but I'm gonna do 3. They do sell just by themselves individual command strips, so I'm going to do bases of 3 for each infantry regiment, so that way I can get more guys on the table. There's no reason for me, if having 5 of those guys lined up would almost be almost the same footage as my 32 man 28 millimeter guys, and I really wanted to do this to get more of that grand campaign way back kind of look. So I think I should be able to even have even bigger battles on here with that smaller scale. I'd like the Warlord Epic things. It's a change of gears to paint. I do have a bunch of 6 millimeter Bacchus over there, which I just failed miserably to paint. I will at some point do those. I don't know when, but they will get done. And I don't know if I'll use them or just sell them or give them away. I don't know. But I want to paint them and get done with what I have. But that's difficult. I even struggle painting the epics just because it's a change of pace for me. And I'm I'm kind of a vanilla person. So I'm a creature of habit. I do the same thing. That's why I kind of do really well with batch painting the same thing over and over. I can sit down and paint 6 battalions of 32, and it doesn't really bother me, even though everyone else would probably go insanely bored. But I kind of find comfort in doing, 200 pairs of shoes, 200 pairs of pants, 200 shirts, and then start blocking in details after the muskets and faces and arms and hands and everything else. So that works for me. Maybe I'm weird, I don't know. Also, I painted some BattleTech for Alpha Strike's scenery. I got some 3D printed stuff off eBay. I can't remember the name of the gentleman I bought it from. I've done some buildings too. Some new buildings that for one of my battles I just did, which was really great. And I think that's in that video. And I painted some more, touched up some more mechs and did some stuff too for BattleTech. I've also done trees and roads for it's basically for BattleTech, but it's going to also be for, when I get to it, the 10 millimeter World War II from, is it 12? It might be 12 millimeter World War II with the Victrix plastics, and also for the Epic. Yeah, I think it's 12 millimeter from Victrix. Excuse me. And that'll be for O Group, which I'm excited about. Heck, I might even play Chain of Command with that, but I doubt it. Well, I think I'll stick to 28 millimeter for Chain of Command. I still need to get the Chain of Command too, but it'll be there when I get around to it. So, at some point, Rich, two fat lardies, you will get my money. Don't you worry, buddy. What else have I done? All right, so not a bad total. Probably 416, 28 millimeter, probably around 2,000 epics, if not almost done. And yeah, and some other various things. What I've got coming up games-wise, I've got the final battle in the Victorious campaign book, the final assault. That'll happen probably after a couple sci-fi tangents for me. I'm going to do a Alpha Strike game next with Addison. She's excited to play. So we're going to do that next battle in Arrakis, which is going to be a huge Alpha Strike game, which is going to be a lot of fun on this table. Still working on the scenario in my head of how to lay it out, but it should be cool. And then I'm going to do this combination thing that I've thought of, and I'm kind of excited about it. I own a lot of drop fleet commander ships, and I've always wanted to do World War II or World War I battleship games. So I bought the Grand Fleets, like version 3 that Scott Driscoll or Check Your Leader TV played, and I've kind of dilly-dallied at work on lunches and stuff like that, and I've kind of taken the ships and the weapons for Drop Fleet Commander and made templates of how to bring them into those rules. I've not play tested this. I don't know if it's balanced. It could be an absolute nightmare, but I'm going to have fun with it. Now, Addison says she wants to play with it when it's time to play. But I'm going to use the Drop Fleet Commander ships models and play a big big space battle on this table. And that should be a blast. So, and then using the Grand Fleets rules. So it'll be Drop Grand Fleets or Grand Drop Fleets, or that's probably the best name for it. And hopefully I don't get sued for doing anything bad. But it should be good. I kind of bounced it off Scott. He's usually a good, like, whoa, what are you doing, dude? And he didn't seem to, he said, yeah, go for it. So, it was a good measuring stick for me. What else I've got coming? Well, trying to get towards the 1813 campaign. Scott's been playing that Explorious. And he's also working on his own English Civil War rules. He's been playing, and he's getting ready. He's going to fight La Hermandad at the CanCon in Australia. So he's painting figures for that. And I think he's going to play a couple games and have people already signing up for that. I can't remember when that is, but he'll let you know on his channel. It's been about, I think it was right after at that Australian convention is where last year when I reached out to Scott about doing some collaborative stuff. So it's been a year since we've been kind of in communication and collaborating, and it's been great. It's been a good first year, and we've got more to come. So I'm working towards the 1813 campaign. I got I paid for the version of Inkarnate. It's a map making program, and I've been playing around on that and watching videos of that between surgical cases, and that's interesting. I like it. I think I was waiting on James, but James has been really busy with stuff. His wife has her own company, so he's doing a lot of stuff to help her out. And he's a busy guy too, like everybody is, aren't we? And so I thought, heck, I'll just take the bull by the horns. I think I'll enjoy it too. So I'm gonna try to. Scott and I, when we were in Gettysburg, we found a map of somebody made for an 1813 campaign. So I'm going to try to replicate that in our Inkarnate, and then get the right grid maps, whatever, and then save a copy of it, and then you can do different levels on this map making thing, and then have basically the forces and move them on that. So instead of having to have a physical map printed out, which I might still do, I might send it to Deep Cut Studio, but right now in my head, I'm going to see if I can just have all the map movements on the computer, and then I can film videos and basically lay out choices for people. I'll go into this real quick. So I wasn't sure I was going to touch base on this, but what the heck. This is what this morning I thought of when I was painting Russians. The guy, I was listening to also a guy, he's probably been around forever, and I just found him, and he's phenomenal. I think it's the Krusty Colonel or something like that. I'll try to put a link in here. He's done a whole campaign of the French in Poland, and he's got in 6mm, and he's done all the solo wargaming rules and using General Armée 2, and he's basically getting community, and he's doing the exact same thing that we want to do. He's already done it, and so I don't know why certain things show up on my my YouTube feeds. Even when I search for General Armée, it takes like 6 months to show up, and this guy's been doing it for a year or a little bit longer, and I reached out to him today and he said, "Hey man, that's awesome," and he's just responded right away. So English fellow, I hope you are. Sorry, my accent recognition is not the best. But phenomenal stuff. You please, check out him out if you haven't already. Probably the rest of you have already seen him, and I'm probably the last person of the party. But we want to use there's a board game called War and Peace. We'll probably, after talking to Scott, we'll probably use that for map movements, attrition, or those rules for attrition and stuff like that. I'll try to get and then looking also at the Orders of Battle that Little Wars TV did. They have that free stuff they share with they did all that research. It was amazing. And I'm going to make a spreadsheet with all the units kind of copying what they have, and then assign all the different infantry battalions and brigades to where they go, and for the starting of we're going to do it the fall. So after Australia gets involved to fight Napoleon, after Austria gets involved, just because it would be fun to do the spring, but the majority of my Austro-Prussian Russian forces right now are Austrians. They're great to paint. If you want to build up an Austrian army, go for it. It's they're one of they're probably Napoleon's biggest adversary for most of the Napoleonic Wars, and they're easy to paint, and you can crank them out. I think I've enjoyed and found it easier to paint than the greatcoats for the French. And everybody knows they're pretty easy to paint for Warlord games, or Vitrix got guys in greatcoats too. So I'm going on all kinds of tangents. Try to stick with me, and I'm trying to stick with this. So I don't even know where I am. So I have to do the fall of 1813 just so I can have ample troops on the battlefield. The goal for me in 28mm for my Austro-Prussian Russians is to have a minimum of 20 infantry battalions, probably 6 cavalry regiments, and or 4 at a minimum, probably 6, and probably 4 to 6 artillery batteries for each of the Austrians, the Prussians, and the Russians. So if I wanted to field an entire Austro-Prussian Russian army, I could have 60 infantry battalions, which is a lot of dudes, which is I've never had. That'll be in once I make a bigger table. 50. You probably need a bigger table than 15 by 7 foot, but with that way I can fight them independently. I can do a lot of the scenarios that are required. I think all this with all the general data brigade scenarios getting rewritten. I like to blow up the size of those forces. I try to keep the same proportion. So that's something. It's a number that's in my head. You have to set a line in the sand, otherwise you'll just keep painting forever, or two, without a goal, you're kind of just out there lost. So that's in my opinion. So that's just something I'm working towards. Right now upstairs I have enough to finish up one more Prussian infantry battalion, which is already probably about 30% done. I have 3 Austrian infantry battalions, I think 2 of which should be grenadier. And then I have 2 more Austrian militia. No, it's Prussian militia, excuse me. I forgot I have 2 more Prussian militia too up there. A friend of the channel, I think it's John, sent me, I didn't even know they were out there, the War Games Atlantic Prussian militia. It could have been out for a while, I'm not sure. But they match up well with the Perry miniatures, and they look like they're dead easy to paint. So at some point, I'm going to have at least a full brigade of them, especially if they're easy. And I can just use the command sprues that I already got, the plastic command sprues that I had got from Perry, to just give them a command for each one of those guys. So it's perfect. You don't get any command units with those units. You just get, I think it's 60 just infantry, riflemen, that's it. So grab a sprue of commanders from whoever you like to use for if you do Perry, Vitrix, I don't even know if the Vitrix even does Prussians, I don't even know, and then blah blah blah, just get your base together and then you'll be done. You can get a lot of troops out of that, which is great. And then I have also, so I'll end up getting 3 Prussian infantry battalions I have upstairs, and then 3 Austrian infantry battalions that I've got to finish painting. I've got 2 Prussian artillery batteries, so that's 2 guns each, and 1 Austrian one Austrian artillery battery, 2 guns as well. So they're all Perry metal. So that'll give me 3 more batteries for the Austro-Prussian Russians. I have Austrian cuirassiers over here. They're Perry plastics with some Perry metals. No, I think it's mostly Perry metals. And then I've got Russian Cossacks. So each of them will have 16 units, 16 guys, 16 horses, 16 cavalry guys for each one of those. And then I just got to touch up some officers and skirmishers and brigade commanders for them, which I already have behind me too. I even have Davu ready to go. I've just got to paint him, so I'm excited about that. That way I can do a corps level game with 3 divisions with Solt, Ney, and Davu, with Napoleon commanding, so that'll be great. And you got the hand movements on that one too. I'm like doing kung fu. And then I've just got to work on, I've got Gneisenau, I've got Blücher, and I've got one other Prussian guy back here too. So they'll be my main commanders for that. And I'll probably have to snatch up some Austrian and Russian divisional commanders as well at some point, so I can have them represented. So those are fun to paint. Those little like you get those, make a little stand with them. I can't do it like I think some. I know Scott's done some guys like they're all around the table looking at a map. I'm like, that's beyond my painting ability. But sorry, my wife's got a headache. Got to take her some aspirin after this, or not aspirin, not Tylenol. So I think that's it. So next up will be the Alpha Strike game. Hoping I can do the Drop Fleet Commander Grand Fleet combo game, but that's going to take a little bit. I have to rebase some of those ships, which could delay that depending on what's happening and how distracted I get with my ADHD. And finally, and then of course the final assault of Vittoria, which I might get like all crazy and want to play. So that could bump that other game, but we'll see. just looking. I got a board back written behind you guys. Make sure I got everything I need. I think that's it. If I can get those 3 games done, and maybe even kick off this 1813 campaign before December. I've got a lot of work to do. Oh, I was going to talk about that, wasn't I? So I haven't talked to Scott yet. Scott, if you're watching this, you can get back to me. This is a good way, instead of having to write it on an email and or get you on the phone. I thought it would be interesting to do hidden map movements, which you've brought up before. Maybe have the community either control the French side or the the Allies, the 6th coalition, I think it is, right? And then basically talk to the community and then tell them, you got these troops, these troops, these troops. Here you go. And this is going to create the fog of war situation. No idea what the other side has, and then maybe have Scott be the opposition. That way I can control the map and know what's going on, because I think I'm going to be able to do this all on my map with this Inkarnate thing. That's way I can take on a bit more of the logistics of stuff, and then Scott can actually use his brain and make sure I'm doing everything right, because he's got the much better military mind than I do, which is not the biggest compliment in the world, but he's really good at all this stuff. And the historical stuff as well, but I can do like the grunt work, which I love doing, and it's good for my brain to stay busy. So, and then once we're ready to do movements, like film a video or have a live stream, and then have interaction on like our Discord or something like that, and tell everyone, well, this is what's going on with the units for the Allies of the French. You can go here with this guy, to here with this guy, here with this guy. Put out some polls, or just get a general consensus of how people feel, and and then we basically let the community decide how one of the forces moves. I have to work on some reconnaissance rules. I know from what I've read and what I've researched, the French were lacking in in cavalry in 1813. So probably give an advantage to the Allies for screening and for reconnaissance against the French. Come up with some kind of mechanism where you roll dice. Here's my scouting opportunity against the other person's screening, and then what kind of how much light cavalry do you have, yada yada yada. How much light cavalry do they have? And, do some modifiers. I'm not sure exactly what to do. Scott can probably come up with this part, and then depending on the compared result, you get a reflection of how accurate or inaccurate your scouting is of the enemy force. And so then neither side knows what they're going up against. So like maybe there's 40,000 Prussians there, or 10,000, whatever. And so you're kind of hoping, sorry, I keep hitting the table. So that might make a little bit of fog of war to it all. And I know Scott's he's a very honorable person, so I know he wouldn't jump in and watch the other force. So hopefully he'll just leave him in the dark a little bit on what the opposition has. So, could be fun. And Scott, let me know if that's a totally stupid idea, or any of you guys can do that too. It'll be kind of fun. I want it to be a little bit complex, a little granular, but I've got to try to reel myself in and not go too granular, because I don't want to get too tied up in the weeds. At the end of the day, I basically want two forces to come together. And the other thing is, these units, you could have huge battles happening, but we're going to have to break them down a little bit smaller. We'll do a comparison. Like I've got 30 infantry strength, 6 of these and 5 of these cavalry and artillery, and then the Prussians have a little bit bigger force. Kind of do like a ratio of these guys have a 3-to-1 advantage, and then put it on the table. And then we want to, as Scott has mentioned before in previous videos with me, basically to parcel out other games, and maybe even parcel out some of the big games if anybody wants to get involved in some of the bigger battles. And then, you've got attrition from the using that War and Peace game I mentioned earlier. I hope I did, at least. If I didn't, it's an old Avalon Hill game from the 80s. Scott and I both have a copy, and then I got an updated version from Board Games Geek's website. We'll use that for supply and attrition, and then just add in maybe the reconnaissance and screening rules. And then when it's time for a battle, it's General d'Armée too. So that's what we'd like to do. And heck, I mean, I wouldn't even care if someone else was fighting a battle. They wanted to use a different rule system, whatever. Go for it, as long as it's Napoleonics. And then either share a video or email us the result and who lost what, and then you can use Scott's casualty counter basically and calculator, figure out how many units you lost, and then between Scott and I, we'll have a sit-down meeting after big battles and see what's left of each force on this spreadsheet, and I'll update it. And we'll have reinforcements come in with the War and Peace rules and stuff like that. Hopefully we can make this last for a little while. I don't really want a one-and-done campaign. I'd really like to have a bigger one. And in the end of the day, this is not going to be historically accurate. It's going to start off a little bit historically accurate, and then it's just going to basically venture into the what if and a complete its own fun reality for something for all of us to just have a good time playing Napoleonics together, and just something for the community and something for us. And that's how it goes for me. That's the ultimate goal. And I'd like to at some point. I know Scott and I are going to try to play a game over using some kind of shared, either using Discord or something, and then play a game against each other virtually. Maybe even when you play twin battles, one of us plays on one flank of a battle, one of us plays on another, and then kind of update each other turn by turn. He is in Australia and I'm in Kentucky, so it's a little bit of a time lapse, but I can slow myself down. And it'd be kind of fun to have a direct impact on whatever flank you're fighting on, of what's happening on someone else's table in someone else's house on the other side of the planet. So I think that'd be neat. We've played a little bit, we're touched a little bit. I think we ventured into this a little bit with my fictional 1815 campaign that Scott thankfully joined me on. But yeah, it's I'd like to expand on that and move forward. So that's what's going on. That ended up being a lot of blah, but hopefully that was entertaining. It was kind of nice to get my ideas on video, and I'd like to go back and watch some of these. And please comment, let me know what's good ideas. If you have any other ideas, that'd be great. Scott, you know how to get a hold of me, or whatever you want to do, brother. And the rest of you guys, I hope you're doing good, and I hope you're having a fantastic week. Take care, guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.